Welcome back to the Thorn and Company Talk Show. Now, a few weeks ago, we asked our viewers who they would like to have on the show. Today, we have the final vote. We are honored to welcome the esteemed author of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings series, J.R.R. Tolkien. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Thorn and Company Talk Show, Mr. Tolkien.
It's great to be here.
Yes. Mr. Tolkien, our viewers are wondering if you could talk about a few chapters of your book, The Hobbit.
No, I would be happy to.
Yes. In Chapter 3, A Short Rest, how would you describe what Bilbo, Gandalf, and the dwarves felt shortly after their encounter with the trolls?
Well, trolls happen to be quite gross and fat and careless creatures. The dwarves were kidnapped by them in their smelly sack, with nothing to breathe in but the putrid odor that was surrounding them. They felt quite shaken up.
I see. Bilbo felt very insignificant when he first saw the Misty Mountains, but the dwarves did not. Could you elaborate on this?
Well, it's not necessarily that the dwarves weren't a little taken aback at the first sight. You don't see something like the Misty Mountains every day. For example, when you go into town and you see very large buildings, you've seen them before, but it fills you with a wonderful moment about how big they really are, doesn't it?
Yes, I agree. Now that Bilbo has gotten farther into his journey, he wishes again he was in his old hobbit hole. Of course. Why did Bilbo even come in the first place?
Well, as you might have read, some of Bilbo's ancestors were Tooks. The Tooks were known for their adventurous personalities. When Gandalf offers an opportunity for Bilbo to go on an adventure, his Tookish side, as it were, took over, and he felt urged to go.
I see. Why did Bilbo, Gandalf, and the dwarves end up staying at the last homely house for 2 weeks instead of just for the evening?
Well, everyone in the company was exhausted. They had been traveling in the wilderness all day, camping uncomfortably at night, and eating very little. The elves not only invited them to supper, but graciously allowed them to stay for a long period of time. They simply couldn't refuse.
I see. Why did Elrond not approve of dwarves and their very, very large ring of gold?
Well, Elrond was a wise old elf. He knew that greed has the power to ruin someone's life, and happiness is not found in wealth.
I see. Why is Durin's Day so exciting and important to Thorin?
Durin is Thorin's ancestor. Thorin is very proud of his ancestors. Perhaps a little too much. Plus, Durin's Day is the Dwarvish New Year.
I see. Why wouldn't Thorin or Gandalf have noticed the moon letters before Elrond?
Moon letters are only visible when the moon is a certain shape. In this case, moon letters were written in a crescent moon. No one had happened to look at Thorin's map when the moon was in the right shape.
I see. Why did evil things not dare come in the hidden valley of Rivendell?
Ah, yes. All the evil things knew about how joyful and peaceful Rivendell was. They also knew of Elrond, the house master, and how wise he had become. He had been through more wars than any of the evil things combined, so he knew how to deal with them.
Yes, very interesting. Why were the elves kind to Bilbo and the dwarves when they had not met them beforehand?
They may not have met Bilbo or the dwarves, but they have met Gandalf. Gandalf was kind to them, so they should be kind back. It's courtesy.
Yes, yes. What did the elves and Gandalf mean by saying, "Mind Bilbo doesn't eat all the cakes. He is too fat to get through keyholes yet." "Hush, hush, good people, and good night," said Gandalf, who came last. "Valleys have ears, and some elves have over-merry tongues."
Well, Gandalf had heard what the elves had said about Bilbo. He corrected them by saying, "Valleys have ears, and some elves have over-merry tongues."
Good impression.
Thank you. This meant that everyone can hear what they are saying, and they should be quiet.
I see. Very, very interesting. How did Elrond know so much about the swords that Bilbo, Gandalf, and the dwarves took from the Troll's Cave?
Well, like I said before, Elrond is a very old elf, also very wise. Throughout his whole life, he has dealt with creatures of all kinds, as well as many wars, like I said. He has learned so much about all these things that he can recognize almost anything from the history of the surrounding land.
I see.
Being Middle-earth in this case, of course.
Yes. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have left for today.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Mr. J.R.R. Tolkien, for visiting us today. We very much appreciate it.
well, thank you. Thank you as well. It has been wonderful to talk to you. I'm glad I could come. Although it wasn't very easy getting here, as you can imagine.
Yes. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure.
Yes. Thank you for watching this segment of the Thorne and Company Talk Show. We hope you join us next time.